Denver does it like no other.
That was incredible. First time in 6 years that we've had a championship parade, and we are not fresh off of it. We've had a little bit of time, Niko, to get back to work, and I was doing my other thing. So we have a little bit of time now post the parade. We got to see some of the videos. The videos have been epic so far. No meltdowns, no catastrophic meltdowns, which is good.
No arrests.
No arrests.
Except for one little Bo Byram scare about him being an actual player.
Yeah.
Him not being on the float.
Imagine being the second, like one of the top 5 best players at your position on your team, and the police is like, "No, you can't celebrate because I don't believe that you're on the team. Show me some ID. Where's my ID?"
He didn't have, like, if you saw what most players had a necklace on, or that said player/personnel on the float, and he forgot his apparently, and so he was running around.
21, and he is running around with like a chicken with his head covered.
With some big wetty splashing everybody around. Everybody was like, "Well, hey, are you an actual player?" And what happens? Hey, get off! And all the people are like, "He plays for the team. Let him go."
You don't win the cup without him, guy. My guy. Watch a hockey game. Watch a hockey game. Just for me.
For the most part.
For me,
yeah,
please.
for the most part, they didn't know. I mean, Bo, at hockey it's different. You see their faces, and you see the Bucky on them.
Yep.
So.
No, it was a great time, and before we get into, we're going to recap everything that we haven't been talking about on the Stanley Cup run, and then we'll probably wrap up the 2 episodes a week next week and start getting back to just 1 episode every Wednesday. But before we get into all that, at FEOTB Pod is where you can follow us on all of our social media accounts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which you're seeing us on a brand new camera, so hopefully we look good and not too tired. You can't see the wrinkles in my face. We're getting old. That's the other bad thing.
Yeah.
We're getting old. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and be sure wherever you listen to podcasts, follow, rate 5 stars, and leave a review. We have another review. I said we had 2. We missed it on Wednesday's episode, so I'll pull it up and get our most recent 5-star review. This one is from let's see, Chocolate Thunder 22. Said, "I love when a podcast can make you equally passionate about the subject matter and engaging at the same time. Jimmy and Niko love what they do, and I highly recommend this podcast." So we thank you, Chocolate Thunder. Big shout out to you guys, and leave a 5-star rating and a review. We'll shout you out on the podcast and read your comment, your nice words. Maybe your not so nice words. Maybe you don't agree with the take, but how's it been? I mean, this is the first time we're back in person.
Yeah, it's been a while.
2.5 months.
Something around.
Yeah,
there.
it's
The playoff grind is different.
That is for sure.
The
Playoff grind. Honestly, I'm going to say it. Thank God the Nuggets got eliminated in the first
round.
round.
It was nice. We had like a week off.
It was the perfect amount of time to where we got to lament a little bit.
Yeah,
we got to talk about Nicole, and then Nikola Jokic got the MVP. And then basically from then on, it was Nashville. Cale Makar just bounced the puck off of Mike Riddich's head, and away we were. And it was wild. 2.5 months.
2.5 months. Long.
Hopefully, we're doing this a lot more because
Yeah.
the boys look like they're going to be able to keep
doing
the
it.
pace
Absolutely.
And yeah,
no, it was fantastic. Obviously, doing a Zoom, like it's the only way to do it, because why would we ever record an episode while the game's going on, or before game's going on, and not have the most recent episode be about the game that just happened? So it was a grind, but it was very rewarding. So I am mad.
I will take it. If we have to do that every time, I guess we'll do that every time. But it's good to be back in person, and it's good to have the reminder that other sports exist.
I know.
I almost turned on some CFL football today.
I ain't going that far.
You're betting on Wimbledon, Niko. You've gone that far.
But Wimbledon is a little more respected than the CFL. I know you're a big CFL guy.
We just watched their sport. Why can't? I mean, they just watched our sport, and we just won their championship. So
for the 25th straight year?
Yeah.
What is this? No, it's like 35th almost now, or 28th or something around there.
It was
we're almost at 30 years.
1993. We're almost at 30 years.
Almost at
Patrick
30
Waugh
years,
was the last one to do it. He's the last
So,
goaltender to
those
win
4 guys
the Stanley Cup in
Those
Canada.
Canadians can't have anything, so no.
It's so weird because they can run towards the line of scrimmage at the snap, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like when I watched Top Gun and they played dogfight football and had the 2 footballs on the field. I got a visceral like anger because I was like, that's not what's going
on.
on.
What are we doing?
And then they played it, and then I got it, and yeah, Miles Teller, and pause on that, pause on all of that. No, man, what's been up? What's been going on?
Life has been good. Obviously, but you've seen about 10 different backgrounds of Zoom for me. Whether I'm on the beach in Daytona or I'm in a suite in Oklahoma or in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like I've been traveling a lot, so it's nice to be home for another month before I got to go back on the road again. So yeah, no, it was unfortunate me being traveling so much. I only got to go to one Avs playoff game. It was the most expensive ticket all year, so that's very unfortunate. But it's nice being home.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, it was a grind, and we all remember your Dallas snafu and missing out on going to the game at the Series Live.
Yeah, the only game that was worth going to in the Western Conference Finals, and I missed it.
That's
true.
No,
it's been one thing after another with my travel issues. I'm not going to bark here like I'm going through customs for 25 hours, but it's been nearly as bad with the amount of consistent fuckery on flights that I've had. So.
Well, I'll tell you, the last airport that I've been through is McLaren in Las Vegas. And I swear to God, that is the worst airport. Flying into, obviously, it's going to be great. When you leave Vegas, they want to make you as miserable as possible so that you never want to leave Vegas and you just stay there, because flying out of McLaren Airport, it's basically a guessing game as to where your gate's going to be. And it could be up to 5 minutes after you're supposed to be taken off that they change your gate and your time. And oops, we just canceled your flight. That's every time that I've gone through McLaren Airport, I've gone from gate C1 to like gate A32, and I'm just playing musical chairs all over the airport. So travel has been not fun.
No, it's not.
So it's going to be good for you. It's going to be nice for you to be at home.
I see why people drive everywhere.
Yeah,
it's a lot
of miles. Maybe unless the company would, instead of buying you a plane ticket, they can rent you a car.
Yeah, then again, I hate long drives too.
I
don't like travel. I love until the world makes an automatic teleporter. My life is going to be miserable because the amount of things I could do with a teleporter. There's so much shit I want to do, but I just physically can't because this goddamn airplane just bent me over.
Well, yeah, it's going to be nice for you to be home for a little bit, and we have a lot of stories to get into, and I think we're going to start with the most pressing one, or at least the one that's getting the most of the publicity right now, and that's Freddie Freeman. Came out when he went back to Atlanta this weekend. It was the Dodgers' first series against the Braves in Atlanta. They presented him with his World Series ring, and he goes out there, and the manager lets Freddie Freeman know, we made you a counter offer at the last minute, and they just said that you went with Los Angeles. Turns out, the agent of Freddie Freeman knew that the Braves put out an offer and they wanted to re-sign Freddie, and Freddie would have just taken whatever they put out as their final offer. He was of the mind that they were ready to just let him walk, as was everybody else. And then Freddie Freeman figures out, no, the Braves wanted to sign you. I didn't let you know about that contract, and now you're in a situation where you had to uproot your family and leave all of your friends where you never wanted to leave. And it's resulted in him being fired, I think rightfully. I wanted to get your perspective on it because you have experience in that like sports agency realm or people representing other people. Like, is there an ethical reason to keep that to withhold that information from your client?
Yes, absolutely there is. Obviously, I don't know as much about baseball about representing players. Because I know it's a completely different story because there's no salary cap and there's a lot of other weird things with baseball. But, I mean, if you look at what the situation is, the Braves apparently was offering the same exact thing. Everyone, when we saw him sign with LA, we were like, did Atlanta not offer him anything? When they were willing to offer him whatever he wanted. And apparently this agent had a thing with the Dodgers. And maybe that's why Mookie Betts is there. That's maybe why they've gotten all these big name free agents and such trades over the years, because agents know if they're in LA, they're either closer to them, which means because most agencies are out in California or New York, one of the two big hubs, and they're closer to them. B, there's a lot more marketing opportunities in LA. As much as Atlanta is a big city, it's not Los Angeles. No. And as much as the Braves just won a World Series and just did
raise like they're on the path to winning the World Series again.
On the path again, it's not Los Angeles. Like, so that's the unfortunate part about it. But you should look. There's a reason why he got fired so quick. It's kind of funny. All the Dodgers players going against him too. They're all like, yeah, he was really emotional. Like I get it, but it's time to move forward. And it was a little ridiculous in my opinion. Because there's no doubt he wanted to be a Brave for life. There's no doubt about that. But if you're an agent and you're a type of guy that withholds information from your client and it comes out, it's an automatic fire. Goodbye. See you later. Get the fuck out of my room. If you're an agent of that guy, if you're another athlete that has this agent, you go back to him and look at him and be like, what have I missed out on too? Mm-hmm. Because look, there's no doubt this happens. If it happens more than once, it's only because this is happening because he just won a World Series there.
And that's where the argument can be made. People say, because Casey Close came out and made a statement saying that the Braves have been pushing this narrative since March when the contract negotiations were going on, and it's not mischaracterized, that he wasn't falsely reporting. He's coming out in staunch opposition of it. And it wasn't obviously to save his job with Freddie Freeman because that was going to be gone no matter what.
It was the relationship he has with
to save face. It's to save face with all of his other clients and make that was him talking to them through the media and through the guise of talking about the Freddie Freeman situation. Like, I know what this looks like. I know you guys think I'm screwing you too. I probably am, but I'm going to tell everybody that I'm not, and I'm a good guy, and you guys are just going to have to trust me. And this is where we get into the Don Kings and the Dana Whites and promoters and agents in general just really being slimed.
Yeah, I mean, look, baseball is what I have a lot of strong feelings about baseball in general, but baseball it seems a lot more slimy in my opinion. Whether it look, you can say what you want about basketball, you can say what you want about football. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of scandals that are just break the internet with baseball. It's all behind the stage. Like, one of the sports,
they're all alcoholics.
All alcoholics or all
drive while drunk and
bettors,
betting on their own games.
Like,
that's
people don't list of things.
A Hall of Famer is not able to be a Hall of Famer.
He had
a gambling addiction.
One of the greatest players in your sport is not allowed in the Hall of Fame. And whether it be the steroids, I mean,
and the greatest era of your game has been the era in which you admitted to the most amount of cheating going on.
Like, it's one thing after another with the sport, and I'm heavily surprised. The only I'm not heavily surprised. I'm not surprised. This is the only case. Like, it has happened probably more times than you want, and it's unfortunate that agents do this because they feel like, well, let's take my player to LA. It doesn't matter salary cap. You're gonna get paid the exact same money. I don't care about your family. I don't care about this, that, and the other thing. I want you in LA. I want you with a chance to win another ring, so I can get paid more money. And it's one thing after another. It's a shame that this happens, but I can't sit here and tell you that I'm not surprised.
Elvis Dumerville is looking at the situation like, damn, that's mishandled that contract negotiation bad. Like, sent the fax 5 minutes late, and now just flat out not telling your guy that the place that he wants to stay, the team that he wants to play for, the team that he just brought a championship to, and you just don't disregard all of that. You're a client, you're an employee of that person, yet you're going to go against what's in their best interest. It's a little bit vindictive, and you're right. Baseball has a lot more of that feel where they're just out there and not really hiding, not really hiding how dirty they are. I mean, they air their dirty laundry more than anything. Yet we get so many.
And it starts with like talking about we just saw the Stanley Cup here. That trophy, as funny as it was that we dropped it, I think it's one of the most heralded trophies in all sports because of the history behind it, everything that comes with it.
Oldest trophy in professional
sports. Your commissioner called it a piece of metal, your trophy.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know about what your commissioner thinks of your sport.
Two of your most recent teams, two of your most recent World Series have been brought out as cheating scandals. And then it turned out that the team that was complaining about them cheating was cheating even more than they were. Everybody just like this sport. I played it for a long time. I have a lot of love for it. I love going and swinging the bat around, and wiffle ball now is a lot of fun. But can we just like figure your shit out? Like, commissioner needs to go. That's a given. Because of the 4 major commissioners, he is tied for dead last, and that's not a. It's like at the bottom of a shit mountain.
The only reason why he's ahead of Batman is because of all the stuff behind it, but it's barely below him.
It's ridiculous right now what Major League Baseball has become, and kids are not becoming baseball fans. Kids might play baseball, and they might play baseball for a long time, but after they're done, they're not going to watch.
No,
they aren't tuning in. You're not getting anybody besides your old, middle-aged, like suburban guy tuning into your games on Sunday Night Baseball to watch the Dodgers and the Yankees, or the Yankees and the Red Sox, or
one of that combination. Like
it's a round robin every single week.
It's funny. Like, look, we covered the Field of Dreams game last year with Tim Anderson. I remember hearing Tim Anderson say, he's like, "Yeah, I don't watch baseball. Like, it's not entertaining to me. I'm good at it."
They're all like Brooks Koepka with golf.
And I watch the game, like, I watch what I need, basically. I'm not here and sitting and enjoying the game. I'll watch whatever I want to. But the only thing I watch is film to make myself better. And that's a case for a lot of players. A lot of players.
And you think about all of the other sports. When you get eliminated, you're pretty much watching the rest of the playoffs because you're just addicted to. It's fun. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. And yeah, you're supposed to go out there. Baseball is a sore spot now, especially
because right now we're in the off season too, and thank God there's UFC on constantly. But yeah, it's a lot of what the fuck am I going to bet on today?
I think Chris Bryant came back. He recovered from his bed injury, and thoughts and prayers go out to him. Not having
T's and P's,
yeah.
At least having him back is nice, right? So I get to at least when I go to a game, I have something to root for.
It's
right?
I mean, he's not going to play all that much. It's a mulligan pretty much every time that he's there. But we'll look at the top 2 in each division. The American League East, New York, the Yankees are leading that division by 13 games over Boston. Central, Minnesota has a 1-game lead over Cleveland. Cleveland in their first season as the Guardians, looking pretty solid.
Good for them, I guess.
I don't like it. I don't like change. West, Houston has an 11-game lead over Texas. And then in the National League East, New York, the Mets have a 3-game lead over the Braves. Milwaukee has a 1.5 game over St. Louis in the Central. And the Dodgers and Padres are separated by a game and a half. The Dodgers are in first.
Yeah,
Rockies in dead last.
Yeah, go us, right?
33 and 40.
I think everyone's pointing towards getting a New York versus New York matchup, absolutely, in the final, or in the World Series final. I think that'd be great for the sport.
It's been a while since we've had anything like that.
Inter-city championship battle. And with the Mets, they don't have, I know, this is weird, I know this, they don't have DeGrom, they don't have Scherzer either.
They're getting healthier. They're starting to be on the field a lot more, and they're on a little bit of a skid because I just saw I don't know if you saw the viral video that went from Barstool when they were live streaming the Mets game, because they have like 5 or 6 guys that are Mets fans. They were flat out screaming at each other like, they're still the best record in the league and they don't even have DeGrom or Scherzer. They've lost 5 out of their last 6 games. What are you talking about? It's the Mets. Talk about a sports franchise that just doesn't know how to handle success. Like, they are just going to eat themselves alive because they're like, what? I need something to be upset about.
Well, what are we doing? Like, it's the Mets. Like, they're going to screw me either way. That's how it is.
Yeah.
At least I mean, you're not. Your baseball team isn't as good. So my baseball team, it's that's nice. We have a team. That's very nice. 4th team in the city. We're one of the 11 cities with the 4 major sports teams. Isn't that nice? But
you know what else is ridiculous about the MLB that I just saw the other day? There's talk like Manfred is seriously considering expansion to 32 teams.
He said 32 teams, and what was the other thing he said? He said something like, automated umpires. So all you old heads, also to the sport that is trying to that caters to the older generation is about to piss them off as much as possible, and as automated umps as soon as next year also.
Yeah.
As soon as next year, they will be automated umpires. Look, expansion never hurts anybody. I don't hate that. I think there's some cities
I
that
just
deserve
really
it.
don't like. There are some cities that deserve it, but baseball is a regional sport. Other than New York and Boston and Los Angeles, really, it's
Maybe.
Do you ever see a Los Angeles Angels game on TV?
I do because Ohtani and Trout are on the team, but they suck. That's the only reason why I see them. So if you're them, you may go get another Canada team, is what I heard, and you probably will get a Vegas team. Are the two options I heard. I heard Montreal, but the Expos getting another Expo team back, and Vegas getting a team if they were to expand, which I wouldn't mind. But automated umpires, I never played the sport, and I get pissed off when umpires make bad calls for my team. But at the same point, like, isn't that ruining just, like, then you're like, well, what's a strike and what's not a strike? Like, you're like, well, it barely chipped off this much. Like, so, that's the whole.
It would take the feel out of the game for sure. I don't think that it would. I think it would be adapted to, and it seems like just a Hail Mary effort at this point for the MLB to try and grab
fans, because the game will go faster.
They are, and it's a big risk because they are risking losing their current solid fan base that they know is always going to be there by doing this and changing the quote-unquote integrity of the game. It's really innocuous. Like, is it going to make a huge difference? No. You're going to know where a ball and strike is, and sometimes it's going to look different to you, but you're not going to be able to argue with the robot if the program is on point. That's all I'm going to say.
Some of the most fun, though, in baseball is when either teams are arguing with the umpire level. So let's just get rid of the natural part of it. So basically, like, look, the best way to put this is you're basically automating all referees. Think about that. Automate football referees. What do you think happens? Things get missed here and there. Automate basketball referees. Shit's going to get fucking missed. It's automating shit that you're just going to just. I laughed. I kid you not. I laughed when I read that. I was like, yeah, that's why I never played it growing up, and that's why I barely watch it unless it's the only thing on. Like that's the point where I'm at. Because you're listening to a guy that never played a lick of baseball in his life. I played lacrosse all my life. And we're talking about a sport that's fucking booming. The PLL is fucking booming right now.
Yeah,
and look, I'm never going to compare the PLL to MLB because there's a major difference. But if I look at the two leagues right now and see which one is in the right direction, which one is the wrong direction, there's an obvious choice.
It's not that far off to say right now that the PLL will become at least as big as the MLB, because I was listening to Paul Rabel on Pardon My Take. At some point, they are probably going to switch to a geographic format, which then you're going to get the buy-in. You're going to get the buy-in from the regional fan bases there, and you're going to expand. Probably, you're going to be able to add more teams into your league, and they're one of the only leagues that take suggestions from their fans and the people who actually go to the games and watch the sport as to how they can improve the viewing experience, which is something that, honestly, all of the leagues can do a lot better. But yes, baseball, most of all. Manfred, here's the thing about Manfred. I think that you could sit him down and tell him exactly what you would want, and he would just not do it out of spite. It would be a Jeff Bridich situation, where he thinks that he knows everything, and you are just the biggest idiot, and it's I don't even think that it would change a thing if we were able to tell him exactly what we want, and I don't think that he would give us exactly what we want.
It's really sad. It's not, because look, baseball is a sport that everybody's played for X amount of years. Like
it's an easy sport. It's an easy sport to play pickup too. All you need is a rock and a stick.
It was America's pastime, and I'm saying it was because football is taking that over. So it was America's pastime, and it was America's sport, but there's no doubt football has completely taken over that. And I'll even argue that basketball has taken over that too.
Or do you want to?
Yeah, let's dabble in this because it hurts. Monte Morris, Mr. Denver Nugget is gone. Will Barton also traded. I expected this to happen. It doesn't hurt any less. It hurts.
No more Will the Thrill?
Will the Thrill, the guy that gave me about as many heartaches as possible, is gone too.
Can we get Danilo back? I want El Capo.
El Capo just got traded as well in the DeJounte Murray trade.
Yeah, he got traded for 2 first-rounders and DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, him and 2 first.
DeJounte and 2 first-rounders for Danilo.
No. Danilo and 2 first for DeJounte. DeJounte is a much better player than Danilo Gallinari.
Yes.
Gallinari got waived.
I knew what I was trying to go for. It was they needed to entice you to take. They had to pay you to take.
Exactly. Yeah, they cut him. So either way, back to this trade. Nuggets in return get Ish Smith, who's been quote unquote Nuggets killer in the past.
The Ish.
Yeah, whatever team he's been on, he's always just killed us during the regular season. So it doesn't hurt seeing him. And then you bring back, or you don't bring back, you get KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a guy that was on the 2020 Lakers championship team, which does hurt taking him from there. But he's a guy that is a great defender. Above average, much better than Will, much better than Monte. And look, it's a decision like, I don't know about this, but I guess we're rolling with it. It was weird when it came out because you felt like you gave up a lot. Because look, Monte Morris is more than deserving to be a starting point guard in this league. And he's going to get that opportunity in Washington. There's zero doubt about that in my mind. He wasn't going to get that here with Jamal. Will Barton, his time has come. Like it was time. Look, he was the longest tenured Denver Nugget at the time. Now it's Jokic, who just got a fucking fat contract. And Will Barton, look, he's the all-time leader in three-point shooting for the Denver Nuggets. And whether you love him or hate him, you cannot deny the impact he had on this team and getting this team to where they are.
He didn't necessarily. There's some things that he did to hurt the team, but Will Barton in his time that wasn't necessarily ever a guy that took away. I'd say he's very similar to Andre Burakovsky. I think Burakovsky's had bigger moments and has come through more in the clutch, but you wouldn't have noticed if he wasn't there, and him being there added just that much more. It wasn't like he took away from the lineup when he was in there. He could play realistically with your starting with 5 if injuries had to make that happen, and they did often because the Nuggets are a snake-bitten franchise. It seems like
it's very, very interesting because look, it hurts losing those 2 guys. Those are 2 massive pieces you lose, and what you gotta think, what you're hoping is by losing those 2 players, the 2 guys that you didn't have for your playoff run at all last year will be right there and be picking up, which I don't doubt either of them could. I don't doubt that MPJ can produce like Will Barton, and I don't doubt at all that Jamal Murray can produce better than Monte Morris. But they have to play only 82 games. This is the problem we're running into because one team has been snake-bitten more with injuries in the league is the Denver Nuggets. And you're looking at a team like, look, this team, we just signed Devon Reed, 2-way deal. I don't hate that, or 2-year deal. Don't hate that because I thought he was a great defense piece. Then you bring in DeAndre Jordan to replace Boogie. Poor Boogie. I love Boogie, but Boogie's gone. To replace him.
Here's the question that I have there. Does DeAndre Jordan bring more of an offensive game?
No, he brings in a much more defensive game. Boogie was going to produce more offensively for you. DeAndre Jordan will absolutely produce more defensively.
And that's honestly, when you're in the backup center role right now, when Jokic is on the floor, you make sure that what they did last year, you get Jokic on the floor to get you the lead, and now you put in a defensive backup center and hopefully hold on to the lead more often than you can give it up.
But the problem you're running into by making that deal is your second unit now has a bunch of unproven guys offensively. Bones is Bones. Like he'll produce high level. Jeff Green is old. Christian Brown from Kansas, the guy we just drafted, probably not going to get much PT, but could eventually. Then you have the likes of Davon Reed, who can shoot the ball, but he's not a playmaker. What happens when you take the starting 5 out and you have to go to your bench? Your bench is not going to be able to produce. I don't think this team is done. Don't hear me out. I don't think we're in the KD sweepstakes, but I don't think this team is done. So I would not be surprised if this team doesn't make another move for a wing, because they still have the mid-level exception, still have the taxpayer exception, so they still have some money that they can use to put on a contract and trade for a contract. So I don't hate that. I don't think it'll be Kevin Durant. I don't think that at all. I think you're still looking at the likes of maybe Gary Payton II, maybe from Golden State, or maybe the likes of, OG Anunoby. That'd be a big stretch now because your trade assets are gone. So there's different pieces you can go for. But KCP, I will like his addition. But all this right now for the Nuggets is all depending on Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. producing back to where they were. Because if they're not, this team isn't going to go anywhere. Because look, Jokic, the fat contract he's got has deserved every single penny. Every single penny. I said it when he won the second MVP. You give him whatever, you back up the Brinks truck, you give him whatever you want. And I know a lot of people are going to hate this DeAndre Jordan signing, but it's the veterans minimum. And all you got to do right now is you go out there and get another defensive wing that can produce offensively, and you're looking already a lot better. It hurts to see Monte gone. It hurts to see Will Barton gone. But at the same time, look. The best way I can put this is the Avalanche had to make some tough decisions. You think it was easy getting rid of Barley? No. Do you think it was easy getting rid of Brandon Saad and Donskoy? No, you have to make tough decisions.
Tyson Jost.
It's tough decisions that guys you wish would be in the parade, right? And those are guys that you're like, damn, I wish they were out there on the boat up there.
Calvert, yep.
Like you can go down the list, but that's the decision you have to make if you're going to go take that next step.
Yeah, poor Connor Timmins too. Connor Timmins was dealt at the trade deadline. That sucks.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the price you take to win a championship. That's the unfortunate part about it, but it's the price you take.
Well, while we were at the parade, the NBA decided to implode in on itself, and now KD and Kyrie both want out of Brooklyn.
The funny thing is, Kyrie maybe not, because Kyrie opted into his contract, which was weird, but then I'm like...
I thought he requested a trade.
He did request a trade. But he opted in and said, you know what, I don't care, pay me my money. I don't care if you can find a trade partner for me. Because apparently there's only one team that wants Kyrie. And take a while, guess who it is? It's the Los Angeles Lakers. Everyone else is like, hey, do you want Kyrie? No. You want Kyrie? No. Do you want Kyrie? No. No. Just stop. No, Sean Marks. I don't want Kyrie. Do I want Kevin Durant? Absolutely. Stay on the phone with me. That's more than half the teams in this league are either or on Kevin Durant. But only one team is on Kyrie Irving right now. And Kyrie Irving saw that. And was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna accept my player option. Get paid all this money, whether you release me or trade me, I'm going to get paid. So you can kick rocks. So it's the smartest thing possible. But yeah, this Kevin Durant news, look, imagine what the Russell Wilson news that came out when he was like, a Super Bowl champion quarterback requests out. One of the greatest players at his position during this time. A guy that is probably the greatest player in Seahawks history. So and Kevin Durant is that big of a player. And you look at the options he's picking. Please don't come to the West. Please don't come to the West. I will say it. Please go to Miami. Don't go to Phoenix. Don't go to Phoenix. Don't go to Portland. Because look, I don't think the Nuggets will pull the trigger unless you give up Michael Porter Jr., which they probably would. I happily would.
Would he play with CP3? I don't think he'd play with CP3.
But the other caveat that is the Nets aren't listening to trades from Phoenix unless they add Devin Booker, and they'll never do that. So they better get off the horses because, like I said, who was it that? Maybe it was Russell Wilson. There's some football player that was like, I don't care. Where they were like, we don't care what you're going to get back from. We're not taking you somewhere. But then what happened was everyone was like, no, I don't care. You have no momentum in this. All the momentum is on our side. He knows he wants to play here. He knows he wants to play here in Denver. Russell Wilson does. And KD's the exact same way. KD knows he wants to play in Miami or Phoenix. You're not in the driver's seat anymore. You're going to get lowballed the fuck out of it. Unless you do a 3-team deal, you're looking at like future picks. You're not getting young stars. The only places you'll be able to get that is Oklahoma City, and I don't know if it'd be hilarious sending him back to Oklahoma City, or send him here, or maybe Orlando, where you can get a bunch of young pieces and draft picks.
Is there any chance we get him? Obviously, the Cronkies aren't making offers today because they were hammered and wearing DNVR shirts.
I'll just say this: if he gets here somehow, it's going to be a miracle because the amount of cap room. Look, MPJ would have to be included. Aaron Gordon will have to be. Those two contracts would be off the books. So, and look, I would trade those two guys for Kevin Durant. I would. And the problem with that is, though, is that you're gonna have to
leave the cupboard pretty bare if you trade those.
Yeah, you're gonna have to add in probably Bones. You're probably gonna have to add in Christian Brown because right now they're demanding 2 young stars and draft picks. Michael Porter Jr. is your 1 star. Your other star is probably Bones. And look, I would give up the fucking house for Kevin Durant. I'm not denying this. I would, because Kevin Durant would probably.
This was not the conversation I was expecting.
I know this. I would give up the house for him. I would. Everyone is on the table outside Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. That's all I'll say. Everyone is on the table because Kevin Durant is that good of a player, and he just got dealt a fucking terrible hand by trying to team up with Kyrie and have Harden on his team.
I think honestly, who drew the terrible hand was Steve Nash.
Well, poor Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
Thought he had a golden ticket to finally get a ring.
He looks like he's a bigger idiot right now than Sirianni looked like before. Like
Steve Nash deserves so much better.
You had 2 top Hall of Fame maybe. Possibly.
1 top 50 player, another guy should have been top 75, but yes.
It's just. And you haven't done anything. You haven't been able to manage the personalities, which was the one question people had.
Everyone had.
And yeah, you haven't really brought anything X's and O's wise either. So maybe he wasn't all that cut out to be a coach like everybody was saying.
And I'll say this: look, they ran into some tough teams. So it's not denying that losing to Boston and losing to I think it was Milwaukee this year no, they were a lower seed than that.
It was Boston this year and Milwaukee last year.
No, it was Boston last year. I remember Boston last year because it was the Boston series. Oh, maybe it was Boston this year. You're right. Either way, I love Steve Nash. I love Steve Nash growing up. He absolutely deserves better. But man, what are you going to do when your second star player can't play half the games? He's not willing to play half their games. You have another guy that is in and out of strip clubs on the road in James Harden. You trade him for a guy that doesn't fucking play ever, and you have 1 star who can't win by himself. Let's put it this way. He will never be able to have a ring like LeBron, have a ring like Steph Curry has, because it'll always have an asterisk of, well, was that his team? Because look, KD is those 2 teams were not his team. Those were Steph Curry's team. I keep repeating this on and on all day long. Those aren't his teams unless he goes somewhere like. Actually, the only place that I can think of him going to, because if he goes to Portland, that won't be his team. He goes to Phoenix, it may be his team. But Booker, without Kendall Jenner in his life, and Chris Paul may still be the leaders of that team. He comes here, it's not his team. If he goes to Miami, it's still Jimmy Butler's team, and you're only going to a place and you're only following LeBron's footsteps. There's a few places where you can legitimately say, this is my team that I won it with. And look, KD may not care about that, but if you ever want to be in a conversation for top 10 all time, you're gonna need to have that conversation and be like, I gotta win something by myself. I gotta win something where this is my team, where everything's around me.
At Fatboy Fadeaway Sports, the podcast that we've been interacting with, let's get your opinion on that. I know you listen to the show, so what's your opinion? Were those Steph Curry's Warrior teams, or did Kevin Durant play a bigger part than what he's given credit for? The headaches that go along with just dealing with these NBA players. I know that you love basketball players, and this is no slight to you. You're one of my favorite. Honestly, you're one of my only basketball player friends that I've ever liked. I had a roommate in college that was a solid roommate too, and he was a basketball player. You guys have the biggest egos, the biggest fucking egos, and Adam Silver is cashing in on it, so good on him, and he's doing the right thing. But I would just want to line everybody up that plays in the NBA and slap the shit out of them, except for like a handful. Just give them a good run down the line, and just wake up. You're not a god.
It's bad. It's come this way. Absolutely. I think the playoffs were one of the most boring playoffs we've ever had this year. I will live and die on the basketball still. I will watch basketball every night of the week. Like,
solid number 2. You're a solid number 2.
Solid number 2, and the only reason why it's number 2 is because one sport is on the biggest downfall in the world. The other sport is not even technically our sport. So that's the only reason why it's number 2. But yeah, I'm very hopeful for it. I think this offseason, look, LeBron was never traded. Let's think about this. Steph Curry has never been traded. Who else? Like, I could go down the list. Giannis probably will never be traded. All these guys left the free agency because teams didn't have the balls to trade them. Kevin Durant, you are looking at a possibility of your fourth different team in 6 years. Oklahoma City, Golden State, Brooklyn, and wherever he gets traded.
Throw in Seattle too.
Well, that goes 12 years then.
Yeah.
12 or more than that. However long his whole career, 6 different or 5 different cities he'll be in.
And the best players, the players that we consider some of the greats of all time, except for the one that's a 6'7", 285-pound genetic freak. Everybody that has played in multiple places does not get the same level of credit and will not be put in the same category as the other players that we're talking about in greatest of all time. Michael Jordan took the Bulls from worst to first when he was the first overall draft pick, and he worked his ass off to somehow get them to where they got. I would say LeBron with Cleveland, and then
if he didn't win that Cleveland one, we have a different conversation. But coming back to Cleveland and winning that city a championship for the first time in 50-some-odd years is forever cemented his legacy.
Magic Johnson never played for another team other than the Lakers, and he's cemented as a legend.
Larry
Bird, same thing.
Kareem played with the Bucks, but he was
Dr. J. Like, you can go back. Everybody that we consider some of the best of all time played with at most, maybe three different teams.
And brought a championship to the team that you were home to.
Yeah.
Right? Like think about it. Steph Curry is forever cemented in San Francisco. LeBron James is forever cemented in Cleveland, Ohio. Kobe Bryant, forever cemented in Los Angeles. Magic Johnson, Los Angeles. Larry Bird, Boston. You can go down the list. Kevin Durant right now, it's not ghosts.
First off, who's going to claim him? Yeah, who's going to claim him? Nobody.
When he goes into the Hall of Fame, because he will, he's a Hall of Fame player.
He's just going to go in as a basketball player.
Who's the cap going to go on? You can't put an NBA cap on, because Oklahoma City sure as hell doesn't want to claim you after what you did to them. Golden State, if you're going to keep talking shit to Draymond and stuff, they're sure as hell not going to claim you. Brooklyn ain't going to claim you unless you go to Miami and win 3 ships there. They're not going to claim you. You're unclaimable is what I like to call him.
He should go in a hat that just has his Twitter handle, and then all of his burner Twitter handles that he's ever had to. Because that's honestly, I get that we're in a day and age, and I'm not trying to hate on the new media, and I'm not even trying to get into that debate because I think it's kind of a redundant debate, and it's had a little bit too often. There's a way to handle yourself, and him going back and forth with people on Twitter, like, I get it. I get pulled into that sometimes. Difference is, I'm not one of the best players in the world in professional basketball, and also making so much money that I shouldn't even be concerned about some stupid fat troll that's commenting on my stuff online. And Kevin Durant does not have that maturity for a guy that's now been in the league for a while and been an adult for a long time, been in the public eye. I'd say he's regressed.
And think about this. He claims himself as the god of basketball. There's not been a year where this has been his league.
No.
Not 1 year. All throughout his Oklahoma City days, it was LeBron's league. Even when he was in Golden State, it was LeBron's league. Now, last couple of years, it's been Giannis and LeBron's league. It's not even LeBron's league, it's been Giannis' league. / Jokic, obviously, because he's been in the conference. It's been the internationals, people taking over the league. It's never been his league. And if you don't think that's in the eating on him, it absolutely has been.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we need to touch on for basketball? You're gonna have to catch me up.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of other things. I would not be surprised if I'm hoping for chaos. I love chaos. Everybody loves chaos. That's exactly what the NBA offseason does for you. 30 minutes into the offseason or into free agency period, 20 signings happen. Yeah. Obviously, those were all put into place before it started. But no, it's going to be a menace of an offseason when you have one of the biggest names in basketball on the trading block. That always happens. And another great player on the trading block, Kyrie. I'm interested to see what they get back from them. I think there's a massive young wave coming in the league right now. A lot of great young players are coming up and taking over, and I think that's fantastic for the league. Obviously, it needs to get better competitive-wise, but no, I think this offseason could spell a lot of good things for the league.
let's move on to UFC 276. We have a MMA card. You have a lot of winnings now to play with on this MMA card. So we'll talk about, let's see. Robbie Lawler is on this card. Sugar Sean is on this card. So it's got some star power to it.
Robbie Lawler's on this card?
Yep.
My word.
Yep, Robbie Lawler, Donald Cerrone, Uriah Hall, Jessica I. Wow, there is a.
That is a pretty. It's pretty.
So cool.
Oh, it's on ABC. How about that? Look at that.
Yep. So the main event, obviously, Israel Adesanya back down at middleweight, and he's going to defend his championship against Jared Cannonier, Alexander Volkanovski, and Max Holloway for the third time.
It's Max Holloway. Yeah, third time. Max Holloway fight week, ladies and gentlemen.
Max Holloway fight week, and then Let's talk Robbie Lawler and also the Sugar Sean fight. And I guess if you want, we can talk a little bit about Cerrone. That's Jim Miller and Donald Cerrone is.
It's
much more even than I would have thought.
It's a take the horse out to the back kind of fight.
Who's going?
It's all right. Which one do you want to finish their career with a win?
You know what? To me, what it has the makings of. You remember that fight where Andre, the guy that was the heavyweight champion and had the fangs on his. What's his last name? I'm totally drawing a blank. He fought Schaub. He fought Travis. I'm thinking of this fight against Travis Brown.
I can only think of like Russian names that aren't it.
Yeah,
Volkanovski, Vasilevsky. I know what you're talking about, but he has the massive beard too. I know what you're talking about.
Andre,
I think it's Volkanovski maybe. No, it's not Volkanovski.
Arlovsky. Oh my goodness! Wow, that was a big brain fart.
We have been running through a lot of Russian and Swedish names throughout these hockey playoffs, so it's not that surprising.
The easiest one is Donald Cerrone and Jim Miller have the makings of a Tim Brown. No.
It's Ronda Rousey's husband.
Yes,
right? Ronda Rousey's husband. I don't know his name either. He has a massive beard. Tim Brown? No, I don't know.
Jesus.
Either way, it was Vasilevsky. Fuck, get out of my head, Vasilevsky. Varlovsky and Ronda Rousey's husband. I think it is Tim Brown. Against one of this is a take the horse out back to the
Travis Brown. There we go. I think there's gonna be fireworks. So we'll start with that one.
I don't think I love Cerrone. I absolutely love Cerrone.
Do you like Cerrone at plus 160?
Yes, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am gonna throw money on him. I'm because I'm a homer. That's just who I am. May I interest you? Jessica Eisen, a pretty proven.
Yep.
Fuck. Against Macy Barber too. Macy Barber's a stud. Oh, she's minus 310 odds. Holy fuck! I'm gonna sprinkle Jessica Eisen there. Sorry, thoughts on Donald Cerrone. Yeah, look, Donald Cerrone. He had the fight against. I don't fucking know who it was that got delayed 3 times. Look, we've obviously been full hockey mode, so you have to bear with us here.
Names are not going.
Names are struggling to get through. But he had a fight against an older guy too that just got canceled twice in a row. And look, this is the. Come on, Donald, you're done. You can do other things. You have a ranch. You can mark yourself very well. It's not that.
He's an actor. He's been in a couple.
He was in that Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah.
The Post Malone too.
He was in Spencer Confidential, but he was also in The Equalizer 2.
I know.
He was one of the French.
He can make a lot of money on that. He has that type of face where he can be a cowboy. Absolutely. Oh. He can be in West. Look, there's other things to do.
Or be a coach, because you got guys staying at your compound at the BMF Ranch. Just be a coach. Be Team BMF.
It's not that hard.
It's not so hard. It could be a lot easier.
I really hope this is the final one. I just do.
I thought it should have been the final one after Connor.
I know.
And you said, we had the conversation, you said no.
I said no because you have to at least have a little bit of respect.
I do have respect for him.
I do, but you, at the career he's had, you have to at least try to go out on a win.
Go out on a win, yes, but honestly...
Well, you can be that bad
honestly,
against Connor. That is a terrible way to be like, I'm done.
Who is the most to blame for Donald Cerrone never winning a UFC championship?
Probably himself.
Donald fucking Cerrone is the reason why he has never won a UFC championship. So I have respect for him, and he's a tough son of a gun. I love listening to him talk. He's so entertaining, and I agree with you. I think he should transition into acting or coaching.
A lot of other things, yeah.
But I'm also not going to shy away from the fact that if the man could get out of his own fucking way he would be even more solidified as a UFC Hall of Famer.
There was one more. Look, he's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. There was the one run back in 2018.
And the bad thing
where
is
he
too,
ran into Dos Anjos and just got fucking
and
ripped.
looked like shit. In the big fights, he's looked like shit.
Yeah, and maybe that's because it's the end of his career and he's fucking 30-some years old, and you can tell that he wants to do other things, and he just loves fighting, loves getting paychecks. But come on, buddy. I hope he wins and goes out on top.
Honestly,
that's all I'm saying. I hope it does.
The other thing about Donald Cerrone is that he is the guy that you will say, let's go out to the woodshed, and then he'll pull off like the matrix combinations that he did in his first fight, moving up in weight. And
then the question pops up: is he back? And then you remember, oh, he's facing Jim Miller. That's why.
Yeah.
It's not like because he faced he's faced some good young up and comers since Connor.
Yeah.
Since Connor. So it's not like he hasn't had a shot. So there is zero doubt this is take the horse out to the back of the shed type of fight. So
honestly, Dana should do the same agreement with Donald as he did with Chuck. We're just like, listen, let's just not fight.
You can go box fucking
I will
fuckers on YouTube.
Well, that he got taken off the UFC's payroll when he did that, so Dana didn't appreciate that from Chuck. No, let's okay. So we'll start with. So you're picking Donald?
Because I'm doing picks.
Donnie.
I'll pick Donnie.
I think I honestly think that he has a good chance to win this one. And
this will
be the one where he rides off into the sunset.
I'm saying he'll win. He'll ride off into the sunset. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Sugar Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munoz.
Oh, I really want to bet against
Sugar Sean is -300. Munoz is +240. 19-7 record. So I think, we saw Sugar get. He's been in trouble a couple times. This seems a little bit. This seems a little bit more like a matchup where the UFC is like, okay, we tried to ramp you up. You almost got caught. We don't want to blow your star power, so we're going to drop the competition level a little bit. You're going to be on ABC in front of a bigger audience, and hopefully you put on a show and become even more of a superstar. But also, be the fighter that we're expecting you to be. Don't get caught in stupid punches. Don't get caught in bad combinations. Basically, you remember you ever watch Aaron Pico fight in Bellator? He is the most prototypical fighter that you can make for an MMA. Like, been a national and world champion wrestler, has been boxing since he was 6 years old and is Golden Gloves champion, Taekwondo, black belt, jiu-jitsu, all of that stuff. And he does not use any of the weapons that he has in his arsenal because he thinks that he has to go out there and put on a show, and he's gotten knocked out a few times. And in turn, he has not been the star that Bellator was expecting. I see a similar trajectory for Sugar Sean. His benefit is that he fights at 135 pounds, so not everybody carries knockout power. Pico fights at 170. And then also, he is just better than the guys he's been fighting. He hasn't fought a single person that's equal to
the only
his
person
level.
that was equal was Chito Vera, and look what happened. That's why I'm going to hedge Pedro Munoz here. Like, he's lost 4 out of his last 5 fights. Fuck. So I'm reading this. But look, Aljamain Sterling in the title picture / champion. I don't even know what division that. I think he's a champion right now. Frankie Edgar probably should have won that, but then Johnny Rivera, Jose Aldo, that's a tough fight. Dominic Cruz, another tough fight. This is a guy who has fought good talent. Frankie Edgar, you can have that conversation, whatever. The last 5 fights have been all against very good talent. I'm going to hedge Pedro here because I'm not sold on. Look, I'm sold on Sugar Show being a fucking selling whatever he makes. But I'm not sold on him being able to fight against good fighters. Because that Chito Vera fight, I will have. Look, I bet against Sugar Show in the last fight. I'm not going to lie to you. I lost money. I absolutely did. I'm going to raise my hand. But I was like, you know what? I have to because he looked so bad against Chito. And I think we have another repeat of that. I think Sugar Show is another. May I say, Cowboy Cerrone that just knows how to market himself in a different way, absolutely different way, but knows how to market himself, and is just going to stick around because he can make money and do fucking ads. So that's what I do this.
I wish he would have changed the color of his hair after 6ix9ine stopped being a thing.
Yeah,
I think I'm
running Pedro here. I don't know why.
If I were, I'm not putting money on this, but I'm just going to predict that Sugar Sean, I'd say probably a 3rd round finish, because the longer this fight goes on, the talent level between these two guys is going to be exasperated, and by the end of the third round, I could see O'Malley having an opportunity to put together a combination, put him down maybe.
And there's a massive height difference and reach. Talking about 5'11" to 5'6". 5 inches is a lot. No matter what your boyfriend tells you, 5 inches is a lot. And then also the reach, 7 inches. That's also a lot to you ladies out there. 65 inches to 72. That's a big time reach difference. Pedro Ramirez is a fucking Brazilian. If he's gonna win,
little tree stump.
He's a little tree stump. If he's gonna win, he's gonna have to try to fucking use his jiu-jitsu and get to him. And that's the only way he beats him. And if he does get him on the ground, Sugar Show has no ground game. That's exactly what Cheeto did. Cheeto took him to the ground and took him into the deep end and basically made his life hell. And that's exactly what you're going to do with Pedro Munoz. Because look, you're not going to stand and punch with this guy. You're just not going to. So if you're going to win, you're going to have to get this to the ground.
That is the opener of the pay-per-view card. Robbie Lawler, Brian Barberena. Lawler's -120, Barberena.
Oh man, my Barberena. Oh man, I like this guy. Am I really? I can't bet against Robbie. I just can't. Even though I probably should start betting against Robbie, I really can't.
Remember when UFC used to title their pay-per-views, and they had it in a game where you could create pay-per-views and title them? This would be UFC 276 Old Yeller, because we talked about Donald Cerrone needing to be put down. We are talking now about Robbie Lawler needing to be put
4 straight fights. And look, it's one of those guys is a little iffy. But losing to Magny,
he had a stretch of fights where it was absolutely unreal what he was doing. It was the Carlos Condit fight was amazing. The Canadian Psycho, I'm missing.
Rory McDonald.
Rory McDonald. Those 2 fights. Absolutely incredible.
One of the greatest.
Also, the 2 fights.
Greatest fights in UFC history.
Also, the 2 fights that are now leaving us with a shell of Robbie Lawler. It's unfortunate, but when you have those classic moments and those classic fights, that's going to lower the time that you have left to be a really highly skilled fighter. And I think Robbie Lawler is well past that part. They're giving him a guy where they're like, okay, go out there, knock out Brian Barberena, and put the proverbial shoes in the center of the mat, and let's just hang this.
Do what Joanna did 2 weeks ago. It's time, buddy. Because look, he won his last fight against Diaz, on the last Volkanovski card. So that's kind of funny he's on there. But before that, 4 straight losses. Like, come on, man. You are a Hall of Famer. There's 0 denying your resume. 0 denying it. You're a champion. You defended the belt 3, 4 to 5 times. Holy shit.
He lost it to Woodley, right?
Yeah. Let's see. He won Condit, Rory.
Oh, those fights against Johnny Hendricks too were incredible.
Very good. Condit, Rory, Hendricks, Matt Brown. Oh, sorry, no, just Condit, Rory, and Hendricks. So he defended it 3 times. He lost to Johnny Hendricks and the first time, but he defended twice, lost once. That's still very, very good enough to be a Hall of Famer. You have put on one of the greatest fights in UFC history. But, buddy, go out swinging, right? It's go out swinging time.
Puncher's punch. That's the last thing that goes, you punch, and that's...
And Bob Moreno is not a bad fighter, too. So it's not like he's going to lay over and say, hey, your turn. This is no Jim Miller situation. Where like both guys are like, I'm kind of done.
Bob Moreno might be fighting for a contract in Bellator, even though I think Bellator would take anybody that's been associated with the UFC.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, we'll go to the co-main event. Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway.
Before we move on to that, I'm taking Alex Pereira or whatever. Sean Strickland kind of has been pissing me off. I don't know why. I've been betting against him, but Alex Pereira is a consistent bet on him kind of fighter. So I've won a lot of money on Pereira. There you go. Whatever it's called. We've been saying a lot of fucking Russian names, okay?
You and my mom both just go just add in syllables when you don't quite. Yeah, okay. Alex Pereira, and he's also plus 100.
I know. I may just do the fucking old timer parlay and throw Donald and throw Robbie in the same parlay and see who wins.
Co-main event: Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, featherweight title fight.
Third time.
Alexander Volkanovski only ever been beaten once, and Max Holloway has been a top contender at this weight class since he fought Conor McGregor. And remember, for a long time, he was the last guy Conor McGregor hadn't finished. He was the only one that had gone the distance. Some people say he could have won that fight. Had the moments where he's telling guys to just stand in the center of the octagon, and I saw the highlight come up the other day of him dodging punches and looking at Dana like, I'm the best boxer in the division, and all that kind of stuff. So Holloway, obviously, still, I would say, towards the end of his window, but still in a very tight championship window, and he's got the chance, like, he's got really good boxing. If we come out and see the best version of Max Holloway, it's not going to be like Alexander Volkanovski's not going to have his hands full. You're going to have to pack a lunch, and where Alexander Volkanovski lacks in this fight, where he is the weakest, is that cardio, getting to the championship rounds. Because Max Holloway is the same dude in round 1 as he is in round 5. There is no drop off there. He might even throw more punches in round 5.
Yeah, I'm all over the Holloway train. He hasn't lost to someone not named Volkanovski since 2019, and Dustin Poirier beat him for the belt. Like it's been that long.
Plus 175 on Holloway, by the way.
Like I'm going to be hammering it because it's very hard to beat someone 3 times in a row. And you can argue he won the first fight. I'm not saying he did, but you can argue he did. You can also argue he won the second fight. Actually, because look, the first one should not have been a unanimous decision. The second one being a split decision, like I said, it could have gone either way for both of us. I think Holloway comes in wanting to win this. I think Volk is an absolute animal. I'm not denying that. But what did Holloway do after losing both those fights? He said, you know what, give me Cater, I'll fucking run through him in a unanimous decision. I'll run through Yair Rodriguez and show why I'm still one of the top 2 in this division. It's just one guy that I need to fight again. And he proved himself. He gets another shot. I love the Volk train. I think him and Holloway are 1A, 1B in this division.
Easily the best. This is the 2 best fighters.
2 best fighters in this division.
This is why it's happening for the 3rd time, because nobody's been able to come close to either of them.
We could see the 4th one happen if Holloway wins, and then probably the 5th.
Not 4,
this
not 5,
may be
not
the
6.
This may be the first time we will ever see a 5-part. It's not trilogy. What will it be called?
Quintilogy.
Quintilogy. That's a big word for you, Jimbo. Quintilogy. Quintilogy, where Holloway can win the next.
Don't quote me on if that's a real word.
And Holloway can win the next 2, and then be like, well, it's 2-2.
Best 5 out of 7. All right.
Whoever wins the first 1 to 3 wins.
7 out of 9. Okay, we're gonna do this again next week. Yeah, these 2 could just go off, like take 3 weeks off after every fight, and then fight again.
And why I'm so intrigued, why I'm picking Holloway 2 here, Volkanovski this week has also flirted with moving up. He has flirted with it, because if this is the best the division has, why would you try not to shit chase someone else? So he's flirted with that this week.
5'6" out of 155.
That's the problem. Maybe maybe it was going down.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants to go any further down.
He's got long arms, so it's not like he'd be super behind at reach. But I feel like the height.
It's what happens when these guys win a lot of like I said, it happens when guys go out there and defend their title multiple times and no one can touch them. Like, I'm getting bored, let me try something else. That's literally all that happens.
Yeah.
So I think Holloway can win this, and I think this fight goes to 5 fights. I hate saying it, but I do think it could happen.
And then we get to the main event, middleweight championship. Adesanya coming back to defend his crown, and he's going up against Jared Cannonier, who had been he's been trying to prove himself for a long time, and put together an impressive little stretch where he's only lost 1 fight in the last 3 years. That was to Robert Whittaker, who former middleweight champion.
Basically in this carousel, but that division also.
And then he put together wins, KO'd Derek Brunson in his last fight, beat Kelvin Gastelum, unanimous decision, beat Hermanson, KO in the 2nd round, and then knocked out Anderson Silva in the 1st round as well. So Jared Cannonier's earned his spot in this fight. That's one thing that you can say. And he wasn't given it wasn't given to him. I don't think the UFC really wanted it to be these 2 guys going up against each other. I think they would have rather obviously had Izzy win against Jan and then hold the 2 belts and figure something out there. I don't know. I think that
this
Izzy,
division is getting a little stale.
It is, and as good as Jared Cannonier is, and as good as he's looked, do I really have confidence that he's going to be able to solve the puzzle that is Stylebender at 185, which nobody in the UFC has been able to do? No, I don't
Except
have that
Jan,
confidence.
except for Jan. But
I mean, at 185. At 185,
yeah.
nobody else has been able to solve this thing in the UFC, and it's down to a science. And I think at 185, nobody touches Israel Adesanya. The only person that would give him a real good fight would be his Nigerian brother and a guy that would have to move up. And they will never fight against each other. But if Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya fought, first off, get your popcorn ready. And second off, that's going to be a scrap.
Get that fight, put that fight in Africa, like have it in Nigeria, like have Ngannou on the co-main event, make it a whole thing. If you want to make so much money, because you can do it that way.
We're doing your job for you, Dana.
Yeah, like come on.
Doing it for you.
Put John Jones versus Ngannou as the main event. Put Izzy versus Usman as the co-main event, and you will have the greatest UFC card of all time.
Yeah, there you go. Do you agree with me? Do you think?
The minus 410 odds, don't ever touch that. Because speaking from a better perspective, if you're smart on this, you take Izzy to win by decision. I'll say it. He's only knocked out one guy, and that's because Paulo Costa had fucking balloons as arms. So I'm taking him to win by decision. It's not going to be pretty. He'll do things that just pisses Cannonier off. I almost wish Volkanovski Holloway was the main event because I know that Izzy can run through this guy. I know he can run through this guy. So that's why I'm just like, but you have to give Izzy his dues. That's why he has his name. But yeah, no, I'm not betting with the money line here. I'm betting him for the decision, and I would probably guess those odds are probably only like minus 210 maybe. I gotta check.
I don't know the decision odds. I just have the overall ones. You want to hear something crazy? You know the last. If I were to tell you in the last 10 years how many fights Israel Adesanya has lost, if you take out the Jan Blachowicz fight, how many fights do you think he's lost in the last 10 years?
Well, I mean, I have it pulled up.
You have it pulled up.
I have it pulled up too.
No fights.
Yeah,
none.
Yeah.
None.
All W's going back to fucking James Griffin.
2012.
Yeah, no one has touched him.
This is the GOAT at this weight class.
And because Blachowicz, I'm still gonna say Anderson Silva, but I'm still because
they already passed the torch.
But he's the guy who passed the torch too. So beating Anderson Silva and then getting a title fight directly after it was the coup de grace for Izzy. So he basically ended Anderson. It should have ended Anderson Silva's career, and then has won seven straight title fights. So there's no denying him. Actually, no, sorry, 6 straight title fights. Obviously, the 5 straight defenses and 6 straight title wins. 6 of the last 7 title wins. I can't speak, obviously. Sorry.
We were up really early this morning, and the
parade kind of will do that to you. But yeah, no, it's hard. I'm trying to find the lines right now, but I'm not going to be betting against Izzy at all.
No, be sure to check out UFC 276. Take the dog out.
It's minus 520 on one of the sportbooks. I'm not going to name them because we're not sponsored by them. But
yikes!
But how the fight will end? You can do by points minus 110. That's not terrible actually. Izzy by points is plus 110. It's 120. I'm telling you right now, that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
I may do the double chance here and try to do points / KO.
I was gonna say
those odds are gonna be jacked too.
I honestly
there's a chance that would make it a distance because Izzy's that type of fighter.
I haven't watched the vlogs or the countdown yet, but I can kind of see a situation where Izzy's tired of people saying he can't knock people out or finish people, and he's going to go out there because I don't think it's due to a lack of power or lack of capability of knocking out, just a lack of I'm just gonna do what I need to do to win, and I'm gonna make you look silly. But
and that's probably why Dana That's probably why Dana's trying to push Usman on it, right? That's probably why, because at this point, do I really want to see him face Robbie again? Probably not. Do I really want to see him face?
And here's the thing.
Troy again? Probably not.
Here's the thing. Is it bad that he's fighting smart and not taking damage? No, it's probably the correct. It's the correct.
He can do this for another 20 years.
However, the promotion is not going to
You're
allow
going
you...
to be a co-main event on a lot more cars coming up,
Yeah.
is all I'll say.
You're not going to be allowed to do that and fight safe and be able... I mean, they almost started doing it with GSP. That's why they gave him Big Rig twice. That's why they gave him Johnny Hendricks back-to-back. I know that Johnny Hendricks probably won that first fight, but you could tell UFC... The only saving grace for him is that he was the pride of French Canada, and those French Canadians, when they love you, are insane. So he carried a lot of those pay-per-views. But if he was from any other region, George St. Pierre would not be George St. Pierre.
No,
it would be GSP.
This card seems like a bunch of fights. Like, come on, please, just fucking give me someone else new in this division. That's what it feels like, right? I hate saying it, but it does feel like that. Like how many times are Volk and Holloway going to fight against one another and just beat the shit out of each other?
We said it 9 times.
9 times. How many times is Izzy going to roll through? Because I'm going to tell you right now, Izzy has no fucking shot against fucking Prochazka at light heavyweight. So it's not like he's ever going to go up against.
If he goes up to light heavyweight to fight Prochazka, his head is going to be in the 6th row.
Yeah, so he'll have no chance going up. So it's time to, I guess, stay there and just fucking be content where you're at. But I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird. I'll say it. I hope this doesn't happen because I think he's a great fighter. But we could be running into another Habib situation where there's literally no one else to fight and he just retires.
Maybe.
Like look, he wins today. Like I said, it'll be a 7 title defense.
Yeah.
Who else?
Who else? I would have to look
division.
I would have to look at the division.
Because I'm looking at middleweight. Makachev, no, because Makachev is in.
I thought he was
as 2 before, and then Hamzat is in Usman's division. Unless Colby Covington goes up one division, then we'll have a fight, or like an interesting fight, right, for him. Unless I don't know, you can go down a list of names in that division, move up, then we'll have a fight for this guy. Because right now, it's kind of treading water in that division. Magny, maybe, but that's
Neil Magny. I love Neil Magny, and I love the Colorado connection. Neil Magny does not deserve a title shot.
Yeah, no, he has a long ways to go still.
Let's put together 3 fights in a row first before we start talking title fights. Let's go to your new segment. What you got?
New segment. I've been thinking about this one. I want to do this with all our guests and do it weekly. We're gonna do start, bench, cut.
Start, bench.
A lot of people do tier lists. A lot of people do top 3, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Mount Rushmore. Since it's summer, we gotta do something. We're gonna do start, bench, cut. We'll also have one week. You'll have another one week. Well, this week, I'm gonna give you 3 things you have to start, bench, cut one. And the 3 things are how you would have wanted to celebrate the print. Would you rather A, been Sam Gerard, fucking onward. B, Bo Byron, absolute menace to society, running up and down. Or I probably know which direction you're going here. Or C, Gabriel Landeskog with the cup absolutely fucking sloshed and cussing on national TV.
Yeah.
That's like picking 3 kids. I know it is.
Denver 7 is gonna get like racked up with so many FCC fines because after Game 4 when we won and we were talking about it when we got there today because we called them the shit show because their production is not good. There's a reason everybody watches 9 News in Denver and nobody watches Denver 7. But it was like, how do you feel? Fucking amazing! Oh my god! I'm sorry. And then the reporter tries to go to somebody else. How do you feel? Fucking awesome! Alright, I guess I'm done with this girl.
Let's get the fucking old guy out here, eh? Come on, Gabe.
Alright, start, bench, cut.
It's tough, I know. I can't. How would you have wanted to celebrate the plane?
Yeah,
it's different. It's either Gerard on a fucking bender with his shirt halfway torn down his chest and basically running around all the fans, or it's Bo basically fucking shirt off after they won on J.R. Smith mode, or it's Gabriel Landeskog, the captain with the cup, and fucking on one with that Swedish gas.
The only thing that sucked about Landeskog is he's married, so it would make a lot.
Adorable kids.
Can I have a caveat? Can I be Landeskog, but can I be single Landeskog?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Because then it's a man rocket, and that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my country's flag around me, and I'm flexing every muscle that I have.
Okay.
So that's what I'm.
You're starting Landeskog. Who are you benching? Who are you cutting?
I think I'm benching Sammy G. because Sammy G didn't get accused of not being on the actual roster, and for that reason, as much as Byram would have been the bench if all it was him going up the escalator with the 2 bottles. But today at the parade, it really made me feel bad to be Bo Byram.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he's like, I'm a Stanley Cup champion, and I had a major role. Like, I had to step up, and everybody was talking about it, and I did step up, and we won. And this Denver police officer is just like, get the fuck out of here, kid.
Get away from me, kid. Yeah.
Get away. And you're just like, I won. I won.
Like, my name's up on the cup. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I know, kid. We all won. Let's get moving. Keep it moving outside the lines.
For me, it was obvious. It's pretty obvious. I'm picking Bo Byram as my start because I want that fucking J.R. Smith out-of-world experience where I'm just on top of the world and no one can touch me, basically. Yeah. And then I'd bench Landy, which is...
I thought you were going to throw in EJ, who was drinking some Don Julio.
I could have thrown in EJ.
Some Don Julio through that tooth
cap. I could have thrown in EJ, but EJ was more of like, I love you, brother, type of experience. Bo Byram and Sammy
Niko ranting in for getting how to speak your second language.
You know what? Yeah, let's change that. I'm going to change that. We're switching out. I'm going to say Bo Byram / Niko Rantanen experience. Basically, J.R. Smith, I don't speak fucking English. I can't speak English because it's parade. That's my number 1. I'm starting that. I'm benching Landy because that's the second best one. And Sammy G, I love you, bud. But I would have liked to experience a parade and have my shirt taken off. Fucking just look. He's so damn short too. It's hilarious. He's a little much. It's funny watching him in the championship celebration, having him on the belt and up there on stage. We couldn't see very well, obviously, but seeing him up on stage, he's a fucking midget compared to everyone. He's fucking short.
That's why they didn't call the hit where he broke his sternum, because he was already just as tall as the Dasher.
The board, yeah.
So when he gets hit in the back, it's gonna be devastating, and it was. I really think a switch to forward would be in his future.
Yeah.
Because
the El Tornado it's gonna rough him up. He has to be paired with a massive defenseman going forward. That's all I'll say. Well, maybe a Manson or EJ. So I guess that works out right.
I would love it. Please re-sign Manson. Please re-sign Manson.
But yeah, I'm with our bench cut a little bit. I understand. I should have probably gone with Landy too. But seeing what JR did with the Cleveland and having seen Bo and basically Niko do that, where it was controlled chaos, it was just as good.
It was a lot of controlled chaos, and it was all 3 celebrations. And the big thing too was there was nobody getting way out of hand and no rest, like we said at the beginning. I thought we were in for one because it was hot and people were getting upset and cranky. But no, it was great. Only bad thing was they didn't get Blink-182 to come out. We did get to sing along with it one more time.
EJ sang.
Yeah. EJ had to go a cappella and then he forgot a verse. So that's what we're here for.
And it was so nice to Tampa Bay Lightning to show respect, by having Lightning at the
salute, a Lightning and Thunder salute.
Yep. Right? So nice to pay the respects.
We're gonna fucking do it again next year too, eh?
It was funny. I was expecting someone to say that, but they're all enjoying the hell out of this. Mm-hmm. So maybe if we win next year again, knock on wood for me.
No, that's
knock on wood that they'll do that again.
I got that from EJ's interview on Chicklets where they were going, who's the drunkest in the post-game celebration? Francouz. No shit. He's like, Landy's trying to make this big
captain speech.
We're gonna fucking win next year too. Just sit your check ass down.
Stop, Frankie. Just let him talk for fucking 2 minutes.
You don't have to dip your head in the champagne. You can just drink it, buddy. It's been. That's the thing about this team is that I love every single guy. There's
not tough seeing a lot of them go.
It is, and I think that's the reason why we talked about it on Tuesday. The Avalanche are my number 1 team because I have that feeling, and by Nazem Kadri, shout out Nazem Kadri because it's going to be one of the last times that we can shout him out until he's no longer with us.
Until he comes and gets his ring when he plays on the road.
And yeah, he's going to be somewhere else. But
the Too Many Men show was too funny. I thought it was a Too Many Men wish death upon me, which probably is double meaning, but it was a Too Many Men celebration after the Lightning. I thought it was hilarious.
It is.
He's fucking hilarious. His personality is just so perfect. I would love to have him back, but
there's a lot of guys that we would like to have back that aren't going to be feasible, and we'll talk a little bit.
That's a problem with being the champ.
Yeah. But also the good thing about being the champ is that when free agency does open up and we have El Sakic, who's going to take your GM out to the back of the woodshed and Lou Lamoriello your ass.
We're going to get 2 second-round picks for it. You're going to like it.
You're going to take it. Take my 2 second-round picks.
You're going to fucking like it.
And Devon Taves is up there on... Did you see Kale and Devon Taves took off their shirts and were like
losing them?
Yeah.
Kale is a little kid. Like he's the biggest... I don't want this. I don't want the light on me. Get the fucking cheering away from me. When everyone's cheering MVP, you start pointing at Taves. Whenever the call or not Calder, the Norris Trophy saw. It's always like, how you guys doing? Doing good tonight? Cool. And then it's like, I'm done.
Hey, how are ya?
Thank you, Kroenke, for being here. Thank you, Saki, for being here. Thank you, Taves, for being my line mate. And I'll see you guys later.
Lively ho, neighbors.
No Shesterkin, 20 minutes. Come on, buddy. Play the music. You're done here.
It's great. My wife is having babies, so she's not here.
There was no problem with Kale. There was no shortage of make it quick, buddy.
I want to make my family proud, and I like to... Okay, Igor, it's over.
It's over. Come on, buddy.
It's a fun episode being back in person. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Episode 98, forgot to mention that. 2 away from hitting triple digits. And we're also coming up on 2 years to the date of our first episode.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we're about to turn 2. So things are moving and shaking for the show. We got the new camera, as we said, so hopefully you guys enjoy watching the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below. Follow at FEOTV Pod on all social medias, and follow wherever you listen to your podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. We will give you guys a shout out.
Can we get another dance in the arena, Jimmy?
I feel like it's appropriate.
I've been playing that song probably fucking night on end.
We do it almost every night. Dancing in the... I think we can do that. I think I can accomplish that again. All right, for myself, Jimmy Plato, my co-host Niko Bryant, we will see you guys next week.
Peace!